Hey guys, Winston at Carbide 3D here. Last week on Material Monday, we laid out some feeds and speeds for machining aluminum on the Nomad, so this week I think it's only fair we extend the same courtesy to the Shapeoko side of the family. Let's start by looking at some recipes for the 102Z 1/8 inch end mill. If you use your Shapeoko with the Makita router option, you can use the same recipes as the Nomad because they can both run at 10,000 RPM. Pocketing, 20 inches per minute, 12 thou depth of cut, 50% step over. Adaptive, 10,000 RPM, 30 inches per minute, 12 thou optimal load, 30 thou depth of cut. Contour, again, 10,000 RPM, 20 inches per minute, 10 thou depth of cut. We're going slightly shallower here because it's a more demanding toolpath than pocketing, and we need to keep some performance in reserve in case our cut channel isn't kept completely chip-free. Those feeds and speeds are great if you have a Makita, but they're useless for the DeWalt, which has a minimum RPM of 16,000. In that case, you'll have to scale up your feed rate in order to keep cutting an appropriate sized chip. If your cutter is spinning 60% faster, then you also have to move 60% faster to keep up. Or, if you really want to just send it, those same principles can be extrapolated out to RPMs of 20,000 or more. The key is to ensure you're still making chips and not dust. You will burn up a cutter if you don't get that right. As you can see, scaled up feeds and speeds work just fine, and they cut faster. There's really no downsides, except that going faster means you have a smaller margin for error. If you're not on top of chip clearing, or you accidentally set your zero height wrong and your first cut is too deep, then the odds that you accidentally murder an end mill go way up. So Makita users, feel free to work your way up to faster and faster speeds as you gain confidence. DeWalt users, make sure you double check your work and say a little prayer before you send it. Moving on to the 112Z, the Nomad's cutting parameters are still a valid starting point. Pocketing and contour are both 10,000 RPM, 14 inches per minute, 8 thou depth of cut. With pocketing, aim for a step over of 50% plus or minus 10% for the smoothest operation. Adaptive, 20 inches per minute, 9 thou optimal load, 20 thou depth of cut. None of this should be new. If the Nomad can do it, the Shapeoko can usually do it too, just with a little less precision. But what the Shapeoko can do that the Nomad can't is use 1/4 inch tooling. Now we're finally getting somewhere new. This is the 201Z 1/4 inch 3-flute end mill that Carbide 3D sells. Same coating, 3/4 inch flute length, pretty darn sturdy. I'll do this with parameters scaled for 16,000 RPM just to be inclusive of Team DeWalt. Pocketing, 48 inches per minute. This nets you a chip load of 1 thou. Depth of cut, 0.015 inches. Step over, 50%, 1/8 of an inch. Contour, exactly the same parameters, just ignore the step over. And finally, the adaptive clear. This is where we can really open up the throttle and have some fun. 96 inches per minute gets us a 2 thou chip load. 0.025 inch optimal load, 0.075 inch depth of cut. This puppy will plow through aluminum all day long. Hold on, minor mishap here. The thing to remember is that cutting forces on a 1/4 inch end mill are going to be way higher, so you really need to tighten down on the collet. Using both wrenches is basically mandatory. In my case, my tool started pulling out of the collet and was cutting deeper than expected. It's pretty hard to break a 1/4 inch cutter on the Shapeoko, and here I managed to salvage the end mill. I put a thin film of cutting oil on the flutes as extra insurance against chip welding since this end mill and its coating have gone through a little bit of abuse. Let's try this again. And behold, the Shapeoko cutting aluminum at nearly 100 inches per minute. Much better. When people look at desktop CNCs, they rarely think about them really cutting aluminum. They picture a machine puttering along, barely making chips and grinding its way through materials super slowly. But with smarter toolpaths that give you tight control over cutting forces, you can push the Shapeoko right up to its limits and achieve a respectable material removal rate for a budget machine. And as always, for the best results, don't forget your finishing passes. I hope these examples help those of you who are aluminum anxious work up the courage to try cutting some of the shiny stuff. And for those of you who are a little further along, remember that the feeds and speeds here are merely a starting point. The Shapeoko and Carbide tooling can both be pushed a little bit harder if you have the guts. Good luck and have fun machining, folks.